What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Shazam! If you guys are new here, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because we do tons of early movie reviews over on this channel, and plus talk a bunch of geeky content, and we also give out advanced movie screens down below at Sandwich John Films, so go check it out. I was so excited for Shazam purely for the point that I love the character. I've always been a big fan of this character ever since I was younger. I've always dreamed of wanting to be Shazam, that when I would say the word, I would turn into him. It was always fun poking and having fun with that as a child, and now finally getting to see this character fully realized onto the screen was a great joy. But I think one of the two things that I was mostly excited about is when they announced Zachary Levi as Shazam. It was a pure dream come true. I think this is one of the most underutilized actors in Hollywood right now, and to see him get this chance was great. Plus, you also have David F. Sandberg directing this, who I'm a big fan of him as well because he's done Annabelle Creation and Lights Out, which I thought were two very entertaining films. This film was one of my most anticipated of the year. So, does Shazam live up to the hype for everyone and for myself? Say this, Shazam hit the mark that I wanted it to be. It didn't exceed my expectations by any means, but I absolutely loved Shazam. It was the exact film that I knew it was going to be, and it was the exact film that I wanted it to be. Nice little surprises that the trailers actually did a really good job on hiding, which was actually surprising. The majority of the big moments in this film, the trailers did not show. I do have a little bit of nitpick with some of the marketing, which we'll get to, but necessarily overall, they did a good job marketing and hiding a lot of the great surprises in this film. We're talking about the big pros of this film. It is the casting and the characters in this film. Of course, Billy Batson is our main 14-year-old kid, played by Asher Angel, who does a wonderful job as Billy. I think he really fits the mold for this character, but since he's an orphan, he lives in an orphanage home, it's really the family around him that sticks out the most when it comes to him. It's all the kids around him and all the interactions that he has with them, and the whole family, in a sense, feels to grow on you, and I can't wait to see what they do with them more into the future of the Shazam world, because I really hope we get a sequel, because it would be a disappointment if we didn't, because they build up these characters so well to the point where you really care about these characters, and in a sense, they're the heart of this story. Of course, out of all the kids, Jack Dylan Grazer was the big standout of the film. He plays Freddie Freeman, who absolutely, he was a big standout in it, and he's a big standout in here, carrying a lot of the comedic moments and just perfect sarcasm that I just love that this actor can pull off, and he does it in spurs within this film. But of course, like I said, I was so looking forward to Zachary Levi as Shazam, and Zachary Levi, in a sense, is portraying a 14-year-old kid in a 30-year-old's body who has superpowers, and that is exactly what Zachary Levi can do best. He can play a kid at heart, and this was essentially perfect casting. I mean, there are some actors who can come onto the role and become a superhero, and you're like, there's no one that can replace him, and I think down the road, we're going to say the same thing about Zachary Levi. Give him a couple movies in, give him a couple years as playing this character, that's all we're going to think about him, is that he is perfect as Shazam. I actually hope, for Zachary Levi's sake, that he kind of gets a Chris Pratt-ism, and I actually think he will after people actually get to see Shazam, so he's going to start getting a lot more roles in Hollywood, trust me. With the amount of charisma that comes out of him in this film, he's going to be everywhere. When it comes to comic book films, though, one of the main things that I think a lot of these films have problems with is establishing a great villain. Don't get me wrong, there are some great comic book villains in these films, but it's always come down to the villain. I'm glad to say, though, that Shazam doesn't follow that mold. They actually spent a lot more time with Dr. Savina than I thought they would, and getting Mark Strong to play this character and redeem himself from playing Sinestro was excellent. I thought that Dr. Siniva was a very menacing character who has a lot more different things to him that, again, the trailers do not spoil, and I'm glad to see that. Now, of course, if you're a comic book fan, you can probably dig into the lore and you can kind of figure out some of the elements that the trailers were hiding, that I'm glad. I mean, I knew what was coming, but I was glad to see that the trailers did not do this, because it did surprise a lot of the audience members, and in general, I think it's going to surprise a lot of you. No, I didn't love his motivation. I understood his motivation and what his character stood for and why he was going down in this dark route. I thought Mark Strong did a good job portraying Dr. Savina, and I was glad to see that David F. Sandberg spent time on his character and developing him to the point where we understand, and when he comes into play, he's a menacing thought at that. That's why I say is that the whole cast is just completely rounded out to a perfect lovability, and it's because because of these characters that they are the heart of this film, especially the orphanage family. I think another thing that I actually really appreciate about the story is that it kind of feels like the Deadpool of the DC universe, because for a fact, this is a very small story. There's no big worldwide impending dooms like Zod had brought to Man of Steel, or even Doomsday had brought to Batman vs Superman. You can even go over to Aquaman that came out last year, and there was a huge impending doom of the underwater world wanting to take over the surface dwellers, and that's something that Shazam doesn't tackle. It tackles a very small story and a very character arc study on Billy Batson himself. And there's some great messages that kids and families will be able to learn and teach to one another. Plus, for a 2-hour and 12-minute runtime, it flew for me. This was just overall an energetic, fun-filled venture that is big as a superhero. I mean, you get that feeling from the trailer, and again, that's what the trailer pulled off great. Excellent humor moments to it where I was laughing my ass off and just having a blast with what's going on, but I will have a nitpick with that. A lot of the funny moments they did show in the trailer, that I would constantly see the trailer every single time I went to the movies, they show a lot of the funny moments. Don't get me wrong, there's still some good fun surprises to some of the hilarious moments that they did show in the trailer, but they did show a lot of them, so when I'd already seen them, I'm like, oh, haha, that's funny, but I've seen this 400 times because I've seen the trailer every single time I go to the movies. I get it, they have to market the film in some way, but come on now. It's not even a nitpick to the film itself, it's a nitpick to just the marketing in general. Plus, not for me personally, but I think some people will have a issue with the story, that it's so small. I mean, that's exactly how I wanted it to be. It was just mostly focused on the characters, show an origin story that's building him up. I mean, everything you see in the trailers when he's training and testing what superpowers he has, it goes to even more lengths in here, and I like that they spent so much time on that. And again, it goes to Billy's character and even him playing Shazam. Overall, it just works in general. The action is ferocious, it's fun, and it kicks a lot of ass. It brought me back to the wonders of seeing the first Spider-Man back when I was younger at a drive-in theater, and just feeling my soul with so much wonder. And really, that's what Shazam brings me. I have not felt this much wonder and awe of an origin story for a superhero in such a long time, since honestly the first Raimi Spider-Man film. That's what Shazam's goal was to make me feel like a kid again, make me want to become Shazam himself, and just have a damn good time at the movies. Well, it succeeded. Absolutely loved Shazam. I think it is one of the strongest DCU films. Do look out for a ranking though, because I am doing a ranking tomorrow talking about all my favorite DC films, because I've had the time to go back through and rewatch it, and that's going to be a fun video to do. Of course, guys, with all that said, I'm going to give Shazam an A-. Like I said, I absolutely love Shazam, and I'm looking forward to whatever they do with the character next. Heads up, there's 2 end credit scenes, one in the middle, one all the way at the end. They're really fun. Go make sure to stay for them. Again, guys, if you guys are looking to see this film, go check out Sandwich on Films, because right down there, we're giving out advanced movie screen tickets to see Shazam early. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button so you guys are always caught up to date. And until next time, stay classy.